having another episode of Pointed. I'm looking forward to this conversation because it's one of those things that we have been talking about a lot internally in our project meetings.
A partner at Digital Jamaica, which is a resource for Jamaicans looking to learn more about the internet. We realized that there were a lot of conversations that just weren't happening. Persons weren't talking about what Jamaicans were doing in the tech and digital spaces, both locally and internationally. And still, there's so much more to be explored where that is concerned. And what we found is that you can't really think something is possible if you don't see it, or if you don't even know that it is possible. So there are persons like, for example, Jessica in the kitchen, who is creating killer content and who has amazing brand partnerships with Bob's Red Mill and Country Crock and Pinterest Flyer Route and Excitement, and nobody's talking about it. It's nobody's talking about it. And so the little girl who has a dream who loves cooking, who loves photography, who loves fashion, doesn't know it's possible for you to live in Jamaica, be a Black person, and be able to command this kind of international esteem, respect, these things on the international sphere and space.
One of the things that we really want to look at in this discussion is what is the future of social, but also in looking at that, what is the current state of digital? So I guess that's my first question to you. As you see it from the vantage point that you're seeing it, what is the current state of play, particularly for smaller businesses? You have identified that, look, it's not about this big client. For smaller businesses, what is the state of digital? Just an overview. Where are we now?
Everybody was kung fu fighting. Hiya! Hey, that's where we are. Javette wasn't ready. I don't know if you guys were ready either, but that's where we are. We are in a space where it is so competitive, particularly because of COVID. Even the laggards, the people who were saying, no, my business has existed for 30 years and, I don't need, what is Facebook? Fastbook? And those who were so resistant to change or to transition or to take digital seriously have been forced by a slap in the face to say, this isn't just a fun thing. This isn't just a thing that the young people do. It isn't a waste of time. And I truly need to invest in this. There's still a lot of hesitancy, and especially because of the financial constraints and the overall uncertainty that exists within the market. I know a lot of brands and a lot of businesses are still, right now, if they were confused before, they're more confused now, because it's like, okay, I have a limited set of resources. How do I mobilize them? How do I push them out into the space? They're skeptical of you and I even more now because they can't afford to waste $1.
It's about evidence. You have to really demonstrate that you have the ability to impact in the way that you're impacting. I was reading, and this was a little bit of a surprise for me. Even though we've been doing this for 10 years, I still am blown away every time I look at social media data. And I was reading, and it said, like, certainly in the US, brands have invested so heavily in their social, and most brands operate between 7 to 8 different social media channels. This is in the US space. For Jamaican businesses, particularly businesses that you are working with, what are you advising them as to, look, these are the platforms that you really have to invest in if you're doing social specifically, but certainly digital broad?
focus and emphasis coming off of the back of literally what I just said around resources being limited and really having to channel your energies into very specific spaces. It's better for you to exist in two spaces and dominate those two spaces and do them really well. In fact, if that for you is one space, it's better for you to be able to command a presence within that space and allow your reputation to kind of precede you. I mean, of course, some brands may not have a choice. Some brands are bigger, and some brands, your customers are already trying to communicate, or like on Twitter, them calling your name, them using the hashtag, they whatever. Then of course, on that space, you know, we would kind of tweak or kind of say, okay, maybe how do we integrate, how do we work this as best as possible? But concentrate, focus, listen to your audience, listen to your consumer, and start small and grow rather than spread yourself across 7, 8, 10. Are Jamaicans using heavily 8 social media platforms? Is your customer on 8, you know, based on your target segment groups? Maybe a tertiary audience, if you add up everybody from primary to tertiary, maybe you'll find across the all 8, but who are you targeting?
Right.
You know, we have to be a little more strategic in how we approach management.
No, I absolutely love the way you placed it, because really what I have found in my own work is that if somebody has a strong presence on one platform, then that creates an opportunity to open other platforms when they develop the competence to do it well.
Social media isn't the be all and end all, because while you're building your social infrastructure, in many cases, that's about building traffic, that's about building awareness, that's about getting people interested. Ooh, you launched a new product. Ooh, Rihanna is representing this. Ooh, you know, a little intrigue and getting persons excited and sharing and talking about something, starting a conversation. Naturally, we've seen where social media can be used across your entire digital sales funnel. We have a person who run an Instagram store who people DM them, and that's how they make a sale, and then they follow up afterwards in the DMs or something. But for a brand, for a business, somebody looking to build a business, even if you're a solopreneur selling bathing suits on Instagram, your intention should be to direct persons towards your owned platforms, like your website. And you might not be able to start it from day one, but you start selling two things. Direct persons towards your own platforms. We've seen so many examples just recently, maybe last month. Lyric Rochester, who is one of the first YouTubers who did major things with her makeup, her YouTube, she got delisted for monetization. So she can't monetize, either start over or fix whatever obscure YouTube thing she violated, which she don't know what she violates, and she got kicked off of TikTok. Now, whether or not it's because she's problematic is another thing, but I don't know the details behind it, honestly. But you can build thousands, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of people on a platform, and Instagram say, oh, people reported you, and shut down your page.
Yes.
What do? You ball live in eye water. you just ball. You crawl into a hole. What do you do then? So while you have your social media platforms, the 1, the 2, the three, maybe that you're outfitting or that you're building, you want to carry people to your digital home. You want to have your home base where people get to know.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's talk a little bit about audio. Audio has been the big thing, I think, the last 12 months, really. Whether that is Clubhouse or podcasting or Twitter with Spaces, but audio, or Spotify, making major moves into
the Caribbean space here.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So where are you seeing audio going? And is audio here to stay, or as a standalone in the case of something like Clubhouse, or some people are saying that it's an acquisition for some of these platforms? Where do you see audio going? Should brands be investing in developing audiences on Clubhouse or different audio platforms? Should they be investing in podcasts?
Okay, so first and foremost, audio never really came anywhere. Audio never really left, because all that has happened is that there's a bit of a transition into how we're consuming the audio. But radio has existed since when? What has happened now is more of the democratization and putting the ownership, putting the power, putting production and creation into our hands as regular people. You don't have to know somebody you don't have to know somebody at RJR or have a sign a big contract at Nationwide or anything like that in order for you to have an audience, or for you to build your own production space, for you to build a community. So audio has been audio. And even before radio, going back to roots, storytelling and communion around a fire and around a table with family, passing down the oral tradition. It's been so not new. Not new. It's just so if we look at it from that perspective, then obviously audio is here to stay. I mean, how we'll consume it, which platform it's going to be on, is going to change. That's the constant. But audio itself is definitely here to stay. And the reason why it works in our current landscape and lifestyle is that we're so busy. We're so busy. We're so consumed. We're bombarded with a lot of information. And sometimes it's nice while you're driving to work, and especially our generation as millennials, be meaning you have to do 10 times more to get half as much pay. Yeah. Okay, boomer. Yeah. So so we're always looking for ways to kind of optimize and improve and self-help and whatever. So audio naturally fills in some of those gaps, because this is something that I don't have to be chained to a desk, chained to a screen in order to consume. I can be taking a shower, I can be taking care of the kids, I can be cooking, I can be driving, I can be working and still be learning from Javette or learning from Monique about pointers or something I can do to improve my strategy. I can, so, and even in terms of podcasts, I was listening to podcasts 10 years ago, like NPR and certain things. I had a Microsoft Zoom to tell you how long and how far that I come from. And it was one of the few things I could do with the Zoom. And so podcasts were it, like, and at that point, because it was so early, there were places like Harvard that had like economics little courses and stuff like that. And listen, I was doing my exams, so you best believe that I listened to that. If there was a topic or something, I'm tuning in. So it's audio audio is here to stay. Now, Clubhouse is very interesting because I think Clubhouse waited a little too long to expand and to move only from the iOS exclusivity space, and it's such a delicate balance because you can't transition and open most of the gates too early, or you're gonna water down your product. Right. And it was already a transition moving from something that was celebrities only, certain type of people only, into making it mainstream. But especially because of COVID, the same petri dish that made their success and their bust out into the market so explosive is the same source of petri dish that I see swallowing them, because people are home. People are consuming this type of content more than ever. They're consuming content more, and so all of the platforms are looking for ways that they can retain or grow their audience.
They're basically set themselves up where they have these big platforms like Twitter, like Facebook, that are looking at them and innovative in their own product. I want to get in as much as I can, so I want to jump to a little bit about content and how people are monetizing content. We're hearing all sorts of interesting things happening with Twitter. With there you can get tipped. People can give you a tip for your content and stuff like that. We know what's happening with non-fungible tokens in the art space. How are you advising clients around monetizing content? Are you grappling with any of those kind of issues as you work with the different entrepreneurs and businesses that you work with?
Absolutely, and it's a big question that persons have, especially as how we've gotten paid has shifted and has changed and we've been forced to change. Even big businesses that have existed since before we were born have had to take a step back and revisit how it is that they really monetize and what shifts and stuff that they can make. What I like about the internet and the space that we're in is anybody can monetize, literally, and you can monetize in almost any subject area. I mean, there's OnlyFans, like any area that you want to monetize, there's a space for you, baby. Okay. And before we even think about monetizing as brands, though, especially businesses, because a personal brand is a little different. If I go on and people really like me, I can ask for donations. I can, and that can be a part. I can have a Patreon, and for my art or for my work, people around the world are contributing, and I may be going for mass. And it's a little different for businesses who want to use the online space to monetize.
Lots of businesses are using things like ebook or courses in some ways. Is that a way that Jamaican businesses can? That's internationally that kind of a paid kind of, you get a freemium model going with ebooks for a lot of where you get an intro offer, but then you have to pay if you wanted the extended version. Is that something that small businesses can look to developing?
It's an option. It's an option that small businesses can explore. What I will say is that it won't work for everybody, because we have to understand how Jamaican, especially if your audience is a local audience, how we consume information, how North America does it and how they use the platforms. in fundamental areas, there's similarities, and you can follow a system that can help you to build a robust infrastructure. But the audience is different, and how they treat and how they see certain things are very different. We just talked about people wanting to see the proof. The proof of the pudding is in the eating. Them want eat, them want you taste and buy.
Yes.
No name taste. If you go to a market and there's strawberries to buy, you can look at the strawberries, you can smell the strawberries, but you got to buy the strawberries before you can eat the strawberries. Okay.
Right.
Unless, of course, they're doing sampling and you have a strawberry jam and jelly or whatever, and they might try upsell you. Jamaica, the sauce of Guinea, may I buy? And if it not taste good, may I walk well left it. If it little bit sour, may I walk well left it. And a part of the issue too, it has been our inability to get recourse, to or not really feeling like you have much of a choice. Jamaicans will spend more money, a premium, buying a product off of Amazon, and they can get it somewhere else $20 cheaper, but they're buying it on Amazon because if something go wrong, if the package lost, if somebody thief it, they have a number to call. They have somewhere to complain to, and you're going to get back your money or you're going to get back your things. In fact, sometimes you get the things twice, and they say, leave it, baby, because we're not take it back. Yeah.
Right.
So
how does that apply to content though? Because there are certain aspects that you do see that Jamaicans are quite successful in monetizing content. Certainly when it comes on to the guys that are doing the skits and the acting, they have grown very big audiences, and are using those audiences to leverage into brand partnerships.
But talk truth, Javette. Talk truth. Most of these have been personal brands.
Yes.
Our infrastructure and our local space has not caught up yet. Them still try to figure out how to use the platform, first and foremost, much less for us to be introducing the space of monetization. The truth is most of them are not ready for monetization, because and that's why I even kind of stayed within the realm or thing of the content and what it is even that we're doing or building systems.
I want to get from you your top 3 tips. We're dealing with emerging businesses. That's what Point Global is specializing in. We're dealing with across the Caribbean, really. What are the 3 top things that you would say to these are businesses now, emerging businesses, that you must be doing in 2021 to ensure that you're in a better space digitally?
My tips are going back to the basics, because the reality is many of us are on the spaces, and we may have a space or a profile on there, but whether or not we are truly using the spaces to the best of their ability, most of us are not. Facts. Most of us are not. In fact, not even close. And so the first thing would be kind of taking a step back and doing an audit on yourself.
How do you respond to the people who say, "Look, this is easy. I can do it by myself. This is easy."
Javette, I don't entertain. Okay. All right. So I say, wonderful. I'm so happy that you found that way. And we just move on.
Is that a reality though? Because we grapple with this. We're in the space. We might know differently, but do you know anyone that is able to do this on their own while running a successful business? Is it that? Tell me, are we? How difficult
are you lazy? Are you lazy? Something wrong with you? It is possible, but the truth is it takes a lot of discipline, and it takes you understanding why it is that you're doing this, / seeing something in it. A part of the difficulty that we have in building our brands on the digital space is that we're very impatient. We want to see something happening. We want to earn the money now. We want to get all the followers now. And a lot of the time we're looking at metrics like maybe likes or whatever, rather than allowing for a little time to space and space to grow. Or also we're looking for the results to be like North America. So I want Grace to pay me a brand partnership deal of $100,000 or $200,000, and that's what monetization looks like. When in our space, monetization might more look like an indirect thing.
Right.
So I'm hosting a free webinar sharing information from the experts, and it's free, yeah. But my hope and my aim is that by sharing what I can do and who I can attract and what I can share and the value I can bring, I can get sponsorship, I can get other opportunities. Somebody's gonna call me and say, hey, I have my JMMB might call me. Let's put it out in the universe and say a lot of our staff members have these ideas and want to monetize online. Come and do a talk for me, and they'll pay me. Yeah,
Right.
they'll pay me to come and do that. But a lot of us don't want to do the work first. We want to make sure, we want to see the money before it is that we put in any other effort, and the digital space does not work that way. It doesn't work that way.
The two other tips now.
All right. So the first one was you have to go audit yourself, and you have to go fix up yourself, because I literally mean stripping back to basics and figuring out, why did I enter this space in the first place? What is my purpose? And why do I want to exist here? What am I trying to say? Yeah.
Right.
And then you can look and see, is that what I'm seeing or not? Yeah.
Right.
Another thing is trying to look beyond your niche and maybe even beyond your space. So maybe within your industry, but in New Zealand, what are they doing? In North America,
we're prepared to shift, we're prepared to pivot, we're prepared to look at new ideas.
Yeah, open your mind to other ways of doing things, because persons within your niche or industry in hospitality, things may always have been done this way, but maybe you could borrow something from real estate and a strategy that they're using in a related but different vertical, that you can be the first to implement and to employ some of those strategies or techniques within your operations or how you do your business.
So we only have 2 minutes left, but I really want to get the third one. What's the third thing that you would say, hey, small businesses, solopreneurs, this is something that you should be doing as well?
Wow, many things, but try to make a plan, because there's so many competing priorities. Because you may be the only one, because I know those struggles, and you may be the designer, creator, seamstress, marketer, delivery man, order person, finding fabrics, whatever in a business. What I would try to say is, try to make a little plan, and that may also include your process. Right. Documenting your process and showing, because if you know what your difference, your competitive advantage, your USP, your something different, your purpose and your reason for existing, and the value that you're actually bringing to your customer, then you can drop pieces of that and sprinkle pieces of that into your smaller piece of content. And if you know you can do something once a week, make it once a week and be consistent. But make sure the sauce is in that once a week.
Yeah. Thank you, Monique. I really enjoyed our conversation. We must do this again. There's so much to cover, but thank you for coming and spending some time with us at Point Global and being a part of Pointed. And we'll definitely do this again some other time. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me.